Day 6 of our readings, which is Monday of week 2. Our reading is from Matthew 16, verses 24 to 27, and I'm reading from the NIV. Then Jesus said to his disciples, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it. What good will it be for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? Or what can anyone give in exchange for their soul? For the Son of Man is going to come in his Father's glory with his angels, and then he will reward each person according to what they have done." The nearest thing to actual wilderness near where I live is the rough end of the park. It loses itself in a long spit of spectacular woodland that plunges down to a stream bed bordered with steep rock faces clad in hart's tongue ferns. When it's been raining, which it has, spontaneous waterfalls make small cascades here and there. I cup my hands and drink the water, which tastes clean and wild. Jesus drinks too, then lets the tumbling water fill his hands again, and this time splashes it onto his face. He holds his hands out for the waterfall to fill a third time. As it runs over and splashes onto the ground, he looks my way with those mesmerizing, unfathomable eyes, and with a movement too quick to predict, he dashes the water in my face. The shock of cold takes my breath away. By the time my wits are sufficiently gathered to take vengeance, he's already halfway over the stream, balancing along the narrow fallen tree trunk that falls across it. I set off in hot pursuit, but it takes all my concentration to cross the gill without falling in. As I set one foot on terra firma, I risk a glance up from the ground to see him standing waiting, his arms crossed, his eyes laughing. I hadn't thought of wilderness like this. We take the narrow path along the hillside, but it's slow going because the way is so muddy and freezing cold. After a while I suggest we go back to my place for a cup of tea, and he doesn't say no. "So tell me," I challenge him as we sit in my room, each warming fingers red with cold around a steaming mug of quick brew, "what I'm to think about this business of taking up my cross every day to follow you. That I cannot be your disciple unless I give up everything. That the cross is mine as well as yours. I'm a coward, Jesus. It's too much for me. What am I to do?" He blows on his tea and thinks. Then he says I've got the wrong end of the stick. He thinks some more. Now, I'm not actually taking notes here, okay? Just drinking tea and listening. But the gist of what he tells me goes something like this. The cross, his cross, the real one, belonged to the circumstances of his life. What he had to do was accept it and embrace it. He asks me if I understand what passion means, which, when he explains it, it turns out I do not. Passion, he says, is a bit like passive, in that it means letting something happen to you, accepting a course of events. Suffering, apparently, means the same, not struggling against what life lands in your lap, embracing it. The only way for the will of God to be expressed in my life so that I tune into God, align myself with God, is to, he flashes me a quick grin, surrender your agenda. That's what he says. He says that my cross won't be the same as his because we're all different, but it will mean turning away from self-interest in the same way. Sometimes it will be huge things that I just can't see how to get through, things that cost everything. Sometimes it'll be small irritations that just catch me on the raw. But that's why it has to be taking up the cross daily, this surrendering my agenda and embracing trustfully what life offers me is for every day and never easy. So I ponder this. You mean I never try to change anything? Just go with the flow? No, he says, not that. You do the right thing, the appropriate thing, for the circumstances life offers you. But you have to accept the circumstances to get the right thing right. If you use your energy struggling against what is, you lose touch with what the Father is doing. The touching place with God is what is right here, right now. And sometimes it is the cross. That's all. It doesn't mean life's out to get you, to torture you. Only occasionally, what has your name on it hurts. And then struggling against it in angst and complaining and hand-wringing why me just makes it worse. To act effectively and appropriately and gracefully, you have to start with acceptance, pick up the cross and get on with it. Oh, I say, I'm not sure I've understood. And about giving up everything, he continues, but then he looks at my face. Should we save that for another day? Just the cross for today? No, I say, keep going. And he explains that just as the cross means what real life is really offering you, and that if you want to walk the path he walked and follow him, you have to learn to stay in touch with what God is doing in the here and now through the circumstances of your life. So you have to learn the art of allowing the things that aren't that to leave you. What? I respond, after thinking about this for some minutes. We'll come back to it, he says with a smile. Nobody gets the hang of this stuff straight away. And I can't get anything more out of him all afternoon.